As a citizen of the United States of America under constitutional law and protection, I have a First Amendment right to free speech, and I exercise that in all spaces and all platforms that I choose. What I understand from being a woman in this American nation, and a black woman specifically, is that sometimes others would rather I not exercise any of my rights as outlined in the Constitution. I do not apologize for exercising any of my rights. I want to be clear, the real issue is not actually about me, and I realize that. What I am experiencing publicly as a black woman is what many of our black students and other vulnerable and marginalized groups are experiencing privately. The national temperature is at a boiling point, and this type of bullying, intimidation, gaslighting, ignoring, and attempting to silence that we have seen for a very long time, not only from individuals outside of this county, but also from this board table, is what's causing our educational system to fail here in Jackson. What I expect and hope that we as individuals who respect the Constitution and each other's rights under it would do is to, one, learn to ignore tweets that are disagreeable to you. Two, fully read the tweet and attempt to understand it. Three, choose to be a part of the solution so that in time, the tweet could no longer be factually true. We have to ask ourselves, what are we angered over? The fact that it was said, or the fact that it is true? Or is the issue our incomprehension of how policies and practices established by the white majority are impacting each of us? The real issues that brought many of us and many of these detractors out to exercise their First Amendment right are not the tweets. It's an agenda to eliminate and do away with public schools because public schools primarily serve the poor, the global majority, and other marginalized groups. We must not let them be successful. The real issue is an attempt to discredit, disrepute, censure, intimidate, and steal the seat of a person who dares to acknowledge the experiences of the vulnerable, who dares to compare them to the data of this district, the data along racial lines of this community, and address them. We must not let them be successful. The real issue is an attempt to disempower, bully, and intimidate citizens of the global majority and other marginalized groups into being quiet. You're here, you are here, you are here, you are here. And as long as you keep showing up, they will not be successful. And the last of the real issues is an attempt to silence the discussion around disparities along racial lines that exist not only in this district, this city, our county, or our state, but across this nation. We must educate ourselves more, understand how these racial disparities are impacting us and our neighbors, and not let them be successful in silencing us. Desmond Tutu, the South African bishop, theologian, and human rights activist said, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." I invite each of you present to begin or continue the work around understanding the experiences of people who do not look like you. It's in these conversations where we will find that we are more alike than we are different. Our world is changing to reflect the rich diverseness of each of us present. Accepting that will allow us to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. I'll end with this as we come off this Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. In his famous words, whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.